This is the end of the beginning, and really, like I've been saying a lot lately, this is the end. I mean, let's be realistic, right? I mean, look at some of the nonsense that's going on here, and let me show you some of the nonsense that's going on here. A man spent $22,000 to turn himself into a collie, and the mainstream media, of course, is reporting on it, so I'm reporting on it because this is big stuff. This is the type of news that people need to hear, and of course, this would be trending on YouTube and other places because, well, it's important. And it's not a mental health problem. It's not sick. It's cool. It's somebody becoming who they really are. And if what you become and who you really are is a dog or a fire hydrant or the opposite gender or something like that, then that's great. That's perfectly normal and acceptable in today's society. And in this case, this is a story about a man who became a collie and spent 22 grand. And on top of it, I wanted to make note, also has a YouTube channel called I Want to Be an Animal. It has over 32,000 subscribers, almost 33. Yes, the number 33. But 32.7 thousand subscribers. And of course, types of videos that people want to see and need to see that get 1.8 million views, like a recent one, which I'll show you a clip from, where this man who turned himself into a dog went for his first walk. That's right, went for his first walk and rolls over. Oh, it's the cutest, most normal thing. What am I watching? What am I living in? Look.
Yeah, perfect. Good boy. Amazing.
So this is normal, of course, this is accepted behavior, promoted behavior. Nothing insane about it at all. In fact, the people who are insane are people who are pointing out how insane things are. If that makes any sense to you. And of course, I'm not bullying, I'm not making fun. I wish this person nothing but the best. Nothing but the best. But may I point out how this is the type of stuff promoted on YouTube, not to mention the fact that we know another YouTuber who has lost hundreds of thousands, if you add them together, millions of subscribers, just for hurting people's feelings, apparently because the truth hurts people's feelings, never saying anything about hurting or harming anyone. Yet in addition to this type of channel, there are also channels here on YouTube from people who ended up becoming serial killers, and they never took them down. That's right, you can look for yourself, you can see some of the screenshots, people who were literally serial killers. And on top of that, in addition to becoming serial killers and killing a bunch of people, just so happened to let their audiences on YouTube know that they were going to do those things before they did them. And their channels never got terminated. The algorithm or the great people at YouTube never took them down. So isn't that crazy? Right? They went on YouTube and they talked about committing crimes against people and mass crimes and how much they hate people and want to hurt people. Yet then they go out and commit these types of acts, and their channels, after they're arrested or after they end their own lives or after even they're in jail, currently in jail, still remain on YouTube, including somebody who ate people's faces while they were sitting out in their garages. So, no big deal. My venting, I'm sorry. Let me get into this wonderful story about normalcy in today's society of a man, again, who went for his first walk. Isn't it adorable? First walk. How's the woman doing who's walking the dog? Is she okay? Really? A Japanese man spent more than $20,000 to become a dog, and he's finally taken his first walk, immediately made some canine friends. How are we discussing this stuff? And again, why are there padded rooms? Why are there asylums? Why do we constantly talk about mental health problems and we don't point a finger at this? Instead, we promote this in the news. And you might say, well, you're promoting it right now by talking about it. Oh, am I promoting it? Trying to call out what's going on in the world and how. Why is this channel allowed on YouTube, by the way? You might say, well, what's wrong with it? It's wonderful. What's wonderful about it? What's wonderful of a 10-year-old kid who happens to love cats, meow, happens to see this and say, I want to turn into a cat? Are we going to be told that the kid should turn himself into a cat because he loves cats so much he probably thinks he's a cat? Because he's told that he can become whatever he wants. So if you can become a dog, you become a cat, you become the opposite gender, whatever you want to do. And if you don't agree with that and you don't let the kids do that to themselves, you're horrible. We're going to take your kids out of your home. Anybody concerned other than me? So the dog, known only as Toko, not Loco, Toko, the man spent 2 million yen, which is 22 grand here in America, on a hyper-realistic border collie costume to fulfill his lifelong dream of becoming an animal. Now, remember in the days we had a lifelong dream? And of course, everybody who listens to my content, you all know that the notion of having a dream is just a mind control experiment that they've created where people are told to chase after things that they can never achieve, like American Idol and these shows. They're promoted because they know that it's a system of control, that the only way you could become a famous singer is if you do certain sacrifice and if you're in a certain circle and you're in a certain bloodline. So you'll never achieve those things. So why do they tell people they could do it? Well, they want them to distract themselves, go after selfish, narcissistic things like becoming famous and rich. And of course, even if they're really talented, they'll never get there and they'll never know why. Because they're supposedly supposed to be able to achieve their dreams. Well, just imagine 20 years ago if I told you my dream was to become a collie. Huh? Imagine we were in high school and we had a day in class, or even in elementary school, you'd be concerned. If you were in fifth grade 20 years ago and you had a day where it's like, what do you want to become? And someone's like, a firefighter, and I'm a football player. And someone went up there and said, I want to become a collie, like my dog, Lassie. Everybody in the classroom would not only laugh, they would tell their parents, and their parents would probably call DIFUS or some type of agency to have the parents investigated because there could be some type of abuse going on in the home. Well, now, not only is it accepted and tolerated, it's promoted on YouTube. It's promoted in the media. And they're not promoting it the way you would think. They're promoting it just kind of going, hey, let him be him. Oh, okay. But when it comes to people like me and you, letting us be us, talk, say the things that we think are actually going on, that's horrible and hateful and mean. That's insane thinking. That's tinfoil hat wearing. Meanwhile, these people don't realize they're being drilled with radiation 24/7 from those towers outside, putting those things up against their faces all day long, on their ears, etc. Yeah, we're all crazy conspiracy theorists. So anyway, in recent updates, shared with his almost 30,000 subs on YouTube, Toko was seen playing in his backyard on all fours and performing tricks in exchange for treats. Isn't that adorable? But now he has ventured into public for the first time to reveal his new look. That is really brave, by the way. Really brave of Toko. And of course, Toko has more rights than any of you, who would be Christians out there listening for the most part. Toko has more rights than you. So what happens if you actually, and obviously I don't promote or condone any type of violence, especially violence with animals or humans, the same thing. But just say you accidentally bumped into Toko or kicked Toko, because Toko was a dude. Would Toko be protected under animal rights or human rights? How does this work with Toko? All right? Is Toko taking a dump, by the way, in this outfit? I mean, I hate to ask, but Toko's walking around the park like this. Now, in the past, I've covered people who dress up, which is just as insane, dress up as dogs, wear leather costumes, and actually get it on with each other. And now that's another normal, accepted thing that you can't make fun of. People who dress up as Mickey Mouse, they put these costumes on and they go grind each other, and they think it's perfectly normal. They think that you're out of touch or you're living like a caveman if you don't accept that stuff. I mean, imagine those people walking into the Wild Wild West. I mean, would anyone even blink before they pulled? You know what I mean? Right? Before it was high noon. I mean, it's pretty incredible what we're living amongst. I honestly can't believe that we're dealing with such absurdity, that this type of stuff isn't only accepted. Why and how are we allowing our world to come to this? As far as us, we understand why the elites are doing this. Those people who are literally insane who accept and embrace this type of stuff, well, we know that they're so dumb and so narcissistic that they'll never see what's actually going on. In fact, the Bible tells us about these people. They're going to be defying God even when God returns because they're so narcissistic. So it's pretty amazing. This goes on to say, from the mouth of the collie, I became a collie, fulfilling a dream I had since I was a little child to be an animal. Subtitles at the beginning of the video read, that's adorable, absolutely adorable. In an introduction to his channel, Toko explained via a series of written notes translated from Japanese, saying, nice to meet you. I became a rough collie because I wanted to be an animal. Please let me know your request for the video you would like to see in the comments. You should put it after that because it'll be promoted by YouTube. Toko says he hides his human identity because he doesn't want to be judged by people he knows. I don't want my hobbies to be known, especially by the people. This is a hobby now, by the way. How would the Amish feel about this, if the Amish even were aware? The smartest people on the planet getting off technology, not knowing that this stuff's going on, don't know about these outbreaks and these other things going on because they aren't really, you know what I mean? How would they feel if you told them? How would I don't want my, I mean, this is a hobby, right? Remember when like a hobby was like, oh, you have free time? I mean, what do you do with your free time? And you're like, well, I like to do woodwork or carpentry work. I like to build things. Oh, okay, right? This guy in his free time not only has the ability to spend $22,000 on a dog suit, but actually has the spare time to go around out in the streets doing this while making a YouTube channel. I mean, he's got a wonderful life. He really does. Is this a modern day George Bailey? I mean, it feels like it. So he doesn't want his hobbies being known. Why wouldn't you want it being known that you're a dog? No one's going to hurt your feelings. You're protected by the government. You're protected by YouTube. You're protected by everybody. If somebody hurts your feelings and says that you need help, those people need help for not allowing you to become a dog. That's right, a dog. Amazing, right? They think it's weird that I want to be a dog, he says, for the same reason why I can't show my real face. Oh, and here comes the sympathy part, right? This is how they work people into it. Where you're supposed to be like, the people are so mean and hurtful. Oh, people are mean and hurtful because somebody has a problem and needs help. He says, I rarely tell my friends because I'm afraid they'll think I'm weird, he said in a separate interview. My friends and family seemed very surprised to learn I became an animal. Well, I mean, a newsflash. I think they're going to naturally be surprised to find out that you're no longer... I mean, people will be naturally surprised to find out if you were born a man that you weren't a woman anymore. People would be naturally surprised. But to find out, well, in a couple of years they won't be because it's the new norm, of course, it's trending. But for somebody to find out, tomorrow if you wake up and your next door neighbor is no longer your next door neighbor, Peter next door is no longer Peter, he's now Toko the collie. I think you might be a little surprised, just going out on a limb. I mean, you could see him doing adorable things, by the way, in some of the pictures I've showed you. Playing tricks for treats. You saw in the clip rolling over. Of course, all the humans, because he's a dog, are applauding this stuff because, well, this is what you call basic liberal behavior. Toko tells us that he was very nervous and a little scared during his first walk. He said, do you remember your dreams from when you were little? You want to be a hero or a wizard? No, don't recall those dork things. He says, I remember writing in my grade school graduation book that I wanted to be a dog and walk outside. Oh, I'm sure you did. Were you living in your locker during high school? I mean, how many times did you get taken into the boys' room, the toilets? I mean, you wrote in your yearbook that you wanted to be a dog and nobody called the police? Well, I guess that's Japan for you. Pearl Harbor, anyone? A spokesperson for the company said modeled after a collie dog, the Japanese company Zeppet, which makes costumes for TV commercials and films, spent 40 days making the outfit, and they said it was modeled after a collie dog. It reproduces the appearance of a real dog walking on 4 legs. Well, that's really cute. And I think the story is wonderful. I just want to make sure everybody out there knows that. I also want to let you know they have 2 other channels you probably should subscribe to. Because even though I'm fully tolerant and accepting of Toko the dog, I'm going to get told that I'm hateful and mean. And I'm not. I think it's just the tone in my voice. I fully accept it. I fully think it's great. Just like I think it's great that YouTube promotes YouTubers who have committed horrific crimes like murder who are in prison and they haven't taken their channels down, but they take down other YouTubers' channels who actually talk about things, going on in the news and expose them for what they really are. And that's somehow considered hateful or racist, right? Nothing to do with skin color, of course. Just talking about what you call psyops and false flags and how the government works. Those are considered hate speech, and those will be taken down immediately. But if you're on YouTube talking about how you're going to kill a bunch of people, then you go out and you do it. Well, don't worry about it. Your channel will be up 10 years later, getting millions of views, because that's the world that we're living in now. Oh, yeah, and on top of it, we have people turning themselves into collies. Oh, trumpets sound soon. What else can I say? The links are below for my other channels if you haven't subbed yet. I thank everyone for being here. Hope you're all doing well. I doubt any of us really are these days, but hope you are. God bless all of you and your families.